Hey guys, welcome back to Sam's Garden Project. So, happy first day of winter. It is a gorgeous day here. We've got blue skies, the garden is growing. It is very green. I haven't been out in the garden much the last 2 weeks because I hurt my ankle, so I haven't been able to walk too much on it, but everything is looking quite green and lush now that I'm out here, and I'll show you what we've got growing. So we'll start in this bed. This is my broccoli plants, and I'm pretty sure it was a sprouting broccoli type that I planted because it's not forming tight heads, it's forming like thinner heads. So maybe it was a broccolini or a sprouting broccoli, but I'll be able to come and harvest them and have them in some dinner and use it in a way similar to broccolini. So that's interesting. They're nearly ready to harvest. We've got some snow peas here which look like they're really ready to harvest. A lot of this greenery in here is just weeds. I'm trying to add to the organic matter of the soil, so I did sprinkle some lettuce seeds, so there's some lettuce and snow peas in here, but the rest of it is just, I'm gonna pull it out and just lay it on the soil so that it adds to the nutrients, kind of like a green manure. But these have all just popped up, so I think it must have been in the sheep poo that I got, all these weed seeds. But yeah, we're just gonna add that in. Otherwise, snow peas are doing well in this bed. This is just the first lot that I put in. There's some flowers here as well, and I've got another batch in a different bed. There's some more snow peas. There's actually quite a few. I might need to come out and harvest some and we can have them for dinner. So down the other end of the broccolini, we've got some cabbages. They're starting to form a bit, but I'm not sure how they will turn out because they got a bit aphid attacked early on, so you can see the leaves aren't quite as healthy as some of the other plants, but I'll let it grow, and if it is when I go to harvest it and it is infested with aphids, I'll just cut it up and the chickens will be able to have something yummy to snack on. But otherwise I think they're growing quite well. We've got some more. These ones are just starting to curl over and form their heads now. But otherwise I could just use the leaves. Same with the broccoli, I could use the leaves as a green in some sauteed and some like broth dishes and all the rest of it, which I want to eat more of this winter. Anyway, Alice, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're eating all the grass that's popping up, all the weeds. So in this bed, the marigolds are doing really well. I love this bit of pop of colour. It's just so pretty because it's pretty much the only flowers I've got, with the chamomile and down the end then the osteospermum, I think that's how you say it. But yeah, this bed has got some flowers, and the orange is just a very deep autumn colour, which is what the garden's looking like at the moment. We've got the pear tree and the apple tree, which has lost a lot of leaves. I think yesterday or the day before it looked absolutely stunning, but now that the wind has picked up and the leaves will come off the tree. In here we have those Chinese cabbages that we planted together in my last video. So they're slowly growing, but they all look quite happy. Some are more bigger than others, but they're all still doing quite well, which is good. I've got some snow peas that have just popped up here, which I'm going to trellis up this side, and I've got some in the greenhouse ready to transplant to go up the other side so that I have a nice big trellis full of snow peas. So snow peas are one of those things that are really quick and easy to have for dinner as a side, as a veggie, bit of green, and they're one of those things that grow really well in the cooler weather during winter, and it's just an abundant crop, so it grows quickly and it has a lot of produce, so it's one of those economical varieties that I just love to grow during winter. In this bed here we've got the kohlrabi and the kale. Some of them are starting to bulb up a bit, which is interesting. I don't think I've ever eaten kohlrabi before, but they taste just like a broccoli stalk from what I've heard, and I normally eat them anyway because I don't like wasting the stalk of broccoli. So I normally just chop up the stalk and put it with my steamed veg. And we've got the kale here, which is looking really good as well. So I'm taking the net off now because well and truly the white cabbage from butterfly season is gone. It's way too cold for them to be flying around at the moment. So I'll take the covers off, hopefully they get some more sun, and then the kohlrabi can, the ones that aren't bulbed up, they can start bulbing up a bit too. So in this bed we also planted out some cabbages and broccoli, and also some spinach and some other green seeds. So they're popping up there. That's the seeds that we planted, and there's more popping up. Also some weeds, so I'm gonna have to make sure that I'm on top of the weeds, because otherwise it'll just become like the lettuce and snow pea bed. So these are doing okay as well. Not much growth on these ones, but it has been cold, and their growth is stunted by the really cold mornings. But they're doing well, and the carrots down the end are very slow growing, but it is winter, so that's what you expect. So in this bed here, I've also come and taken the cover off this morning. This has my beetroot and cauliflower. So I've got beetroot here. These are transplanted towards the end of summer, and they are starting to bulb up. These ones are not as old as the ones down the end here. I came out this morning and had a look. So these ones are getting bigger. There's one there, and I could probably harvest them if I wanted to, but I don't plan on having beetroot for dinner tonight or in the next few days, so I'll keep that on the menu for when we want to have a roast beetroot or steamed or do something with beetroot. I'll come out and harvest them fresh. In the cauliflower bed here, we have some heads starting to form. So these are still quite small, but there's some bigger ones in the middle here. That one's getting bigger. I might, after I finish filming, I might come and put some sea salt fertilizer. That's a nice looking one. Small size, but they can only get bigger. And I'll just keep an eye on them, so when their heads start to split like that, it's slowly splitting on the outside, but when it splits a bit more, I'll come out and harvest them and use them up for dinner. So that's exciting. We've got some cauliflowers happening, as well as some beetroot. So I've got some food out here, so when I'm going to use it, I'll come out and harvest it fresh. I tend to harvest things from the garden, but then I don't actually use it on that day or for a while, and they just kind of wilt on the kitchen bench. So it's my goal, one of my goals to work on this year is to actually use what I'm growing in the garden, whether it's preserving or eating it fresh, and just to stop things from going to waste. So I'll make sure that when I want to use these beetroot and cauliflower, that I'll come out and use them fresh. Got an update on the quince and the plum that we planted. They are looking good. They're going into their dormancy, losing their leaves, and then the plum that's lost all its leaves, you can barely tell against the fence, but they look like they're doing okay. I'm trying to keep on top of the grass seeds, so I've come through this morning and pulled out all of the grass. I've got some flowers, nasturtiums, trying to get all the grass out from under the fence, and then some more flowers there, but I'm just trying to keep on top of the weeds because it's coming, we are in winter now. Happy winter, first day of winter. It's the 1st of June. Because we are in winter now, we have the cold mornings, lots of dew on the ground, so it's keeping everything moist. So the weeds and grasses especially are really quick to germinate and grow. So I know that come spring, which will be so quickly, it'll just come so quick that I'm trying to keep on top of the weeds, so it's not a massive job when the warmer weather comes and the sun comes out. It's actually been quite a mild autumn. The weather's been really beautiful. Even today, it's a beautiful day. Sun's out, so hopefully we have a nice winter this year and it's not as cold. So all the peach trees are losing their leaves. They don't turn that bright yellow and orange as much as the apple tree does down there. or the ornamental pear, that does turn like a dark red as well, but it doesn't happen until very, very late winter. Where the peaches, they just tend to just lose their leaves. The asparagus is slowly changing colour. This year I'm going to let it die completely back and then cut it down at the stalk just to give as much energy into the roots as possible. So it's slowly starting to turn yellow. But I love asparagus in early spring, so I'm going to try and give it a bit of a rejuvenation, let it photosynthesize as much energy as possible, and then cut that back right at the end of winter so that it's ready to sprout. We have lots of asparagus in spring. Same with this one here. It's only got one frond, but it didn't grow many spears this year, so I'm hoping that by doing this, I'll get more asparagus from this plant. Chickens are doing well. They've been out this morning for about 2 hours and I collected all the eggs. And they got a box of supermarket greens yesterday, as well as an underripe pumpkin that wasn't good for eating. So they're happy away. They're happy just hanging out here. It was too good a day to keep them locked up in their coop. We've got silver bee, we've got borage, which is starting to self-seed everywhere. So that'll be good for some flowers during winter as well. These are the plants from the greenhouse. I bought them out because they get some sun and to harden them off, and I do need to plant these. So you can see the difference in the Chinese cabbage from what we planted out to what was left in the greenhouse. See, just having a bit of a warmer environment has led to so much more growth compared to the ones that were outside in the cold. So all of these need to be planted at some point in the next week or so. I'll get to it because this bed is just becoming kind of like an in situ compost. I'm just layering old plants and then with a coffee sack, so hopefully that will break down. When my cauliflower's done, I'll be able to replant some of these in different spots. Same with the broccoli. Yeah, so as things harvest, I can replace them with these seedlings. And then there are the snow peas as well, which will go out in the next few days, I think, or whenever I get a chance to do that on the trellis. So I will put these back in the greenhouse once I'm finished filming, because I don't want to leave them out overnight because something will come and eat them for sure, either a rat or a possum or something, birds. So we'll put them back in the greenhouse so they're tucked away in the warm environment overnight. One of the blueberries starting to change colour, the leaves are getting a bit darker. I've come and just did a quick weed around this plant this morning, and then our ginger is now turning yellow and dying back. So you can see the big difference in Diesel. You can see the big difference when I don't know how long ago it was when I showed you, but it was all still green, but now the cold is starting to kill it. So when it completely dies back, much like the asparagus, I'll come and pull it out and we'll see how much we got. This blueberry plant has got some stunning colour on it. The leaves are turning yellow, purple, red. So it's really pretty to look at. But that's in the process of, they don't go fully dormant, but slowing down and rejuvenating themselves for spring. So hopefully we get a nice blueberry harvest. This is the second year in the ground for this blueberry, and that's its first year because the plant that was there did die. So I've replaced it, and I think it's different varieties, so they might fruit at different times, which will be good. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens come spring. So that's about all that's been happening in the garden at the moment. Quick little garden tour. It's only going to become less prolific and more slow growing, less produce as winter really sets in. I don't think we've had any really serious frosts yet. We don't get very many here in the outer suburbs, but it does get quite cold. Yeah, so that'll come through maybe in July and August. We'll get frost on the ground and in the raised beds when we have really hard frosts. But at the moment it's been cold overnight, but nothing serious has happened yet. But yeah, the garden's looking really nice for this time of year. The sun is setting. Really nice and lush. And I'm quite happy with the amount of produce we have to harvest. Alright, so as always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys!